when he saw another dog in front of him getting a pup cup, and he was
poor
not
dog.
happy about this.
Poor doggy. Envy is a primitive thought or emotion. True or not? I would say it's primitive. True.
Communism's driving emotion is envy.
Communism's driving emotion is
Yep.
envy.
Where does the energy of envy get you? Where
Yep.
does the energy of envy get you?
Nowhere.
So here in Australia, if you get your B12 check, the reference range generally is around 160 to 620, 630. Yeah. So 400 to 160, that is severe deficiency. That is a clear clinical deficiency that you can get brain damage from. And that's the operating levels of the majority. That's it. So 400 to 160, that is severe deficiency. That is a clear clinical deficiency that you can get brain damage from. And that's the operating levels of the majority. That's it.
There must still be some ego
Yep.
that's causing the jealousy. And there must still be some ego that's causing the jealousy. And
There must still be some ego
Yeah. What's
that's
causing it?
causing the jealousy. And
Welcome to another edition of Nutri-Rebel Red Pill Edition, where we try to make integrative ideas great again. And there aren't too many integrative ideas out there in this singular mindset world. But anyway, today we're talking about jealousy, as you can see. And many people get intense jealous thoughts, but they don't think about the details. They might see somebody with lots of money, but they don't understand how they got that money. They only see the final result. They don't think about the complexities. They just think of these intense emotions. It's not entirely their fault, especially when their brain is shrinking. And you saw in previous videos, the majority of the population have really low, especially vitamin B12. That's not the only one, but that contributes to brain shrinkage. Literally, what you eat forms your body, forms your brain. It's not just your brain, your gut-brain axis. And if you're not absorbing these things, what you need, your brain is going to shrink. And your gut-brain axis, because they're connected. It's really scary stuff. Many people don't think about these things when they get jealous.
They're dropping like fucking flies.
We have to try to find ways to not be jealous.
I know that when I'm truly humble, then with that humility, nobody picks up any sort of ego from me.
Well, we have these gurus, it's talk therapy. They just say, don't be jealous. Well, it's kind of difficult not to be when your brain is
They
shrunk.
can't be jealous. They'll just be inspired.
then they can't be jealous. They'll just be inspired.
Well, when we have a government that stops us from opening up a small business, how can you be inspired if you can't make any money?
On the communist front, though, and this is maybe what made it such a powerful substitute in some sense for Christianity, there was the notion that what we were working for was the universal brotherhood of man, and this intense inclusiveness where everyone could live together peacefully.
Yeah.
And so people were also led down the garden path by that presumption and found out that lying in the service of future utopia turns out to be a pathway to hell.
And the politicians, when they see people that are desperate, they see voters that will vote for them if they promise the right things. It's like making a pact with the devil.
Like lying in the service of an exclusionary fascist state. It's really always the same. You go back throughout all of history, the Roman Empire, the Soviet Union, Hitler during the Nazism was always saying that it's going to create the utopia for the average person, when in fact, history always shows that it does exactly the opposite.
Exact opposite.
See, communism is driven by envy in that it
is.
continues to succeed, and there's clearly an emotional drive behind it, even after it's been proven to be completely wrong. And the communists always make the poor poorer, but the thing is, killing off their own wealthy classes, or even mildly prosperous peasants, is more attractive and will be done at the expense of making the poor poorer every single time.
Yep.
And communism's continued popularity among intellectuals, while there are so many other alternatives, stems from their envy. The second the communists do kill the rich, they start to cannibalize their own social structure, meaning they have no other system of value.
So the politicians promise the moon and the stars, but you have to take the money from someone else that earned it. They give it to people who didn't earn it, and they give it to you with strings attached. You vote for me, and then I'll do that. This is crazy. How about giving everyone this different, equal opportunities? Allow us to, even the smallest action, selling maybe food on the street. We're not allowed to do that in Canada. In places like in the Western world, you can sell drugs on the street, but you can't sell food and maybe little trinkets from dollar store or something. That could earn you some money. It's just that the politicians distort everything, and you can't even afford to work a minimum wage job anymore. And this is the typical thing. We see something we want, and we go out and we kill it.
Disable envy. Notice your insecurity. Notice the comparison.
And these guys, these gurus, psychologists do the same thing. It's talk therapy. They think that if you brainwash yourself enough, you'll eventually believe it. I said, no,
and then gravitate
it's not
towards
enough.
The appreciation. Recognize that, wow, this is something that I want.
They do not take into account someone's brain might be shrunk and maintain a poor gut-brain axis. They won't be able to talk themselves out of it, and you might not be absorbing the things you eat. Even how do you know what you eat is the amount you need? Many of us need far more than you can get from food. If they have a poor nutritional profile, especially low B12 levels, the chances of their brain being shrunken are extremely high. Therefore, you're going to start thinking like an animal. The concept of nutritional of impact on the body, especially the brain, through the processes are large part of the field of nutritional psychology.
Envying that person and your eyes being over there, notice what is beyond them. What is it that I'm truly appreciating? And then ask yourself, what can I do to get that thing that I appreciate? What's the smallest thing that I can do to move towards that which I appreciate? And something revolutionary will happen, which is that you'll start to move towards it. And you may say, but Dr. K, that's hard. I want all kinds of things and I don't move towards it. And the reason for that is because so much of your cognition is caught up in envy.
Therefore, it's easier to steal from somebody, isn't it? That's what the politicians are doing. This is crazy.
Where does the energy of envy...
And then eventually the person that you're stealing from, he doesn't have any money left. He doesn't have the will to even make any money because he keeps stealing it.
Get you nowhere. It fills your mind. It's
Oh
all
my
of this
God.
insecurity, all of this ego, instead of actually moving towards anything that you want.
And then they complain about it. They keep stealing from the small guy, and the small guy closes shop, and the only ones left are the big corporations like Home Depot, Walmart.
So once
Oh
you
my
remove all
God.
of this ego from the equation,
Oh,
you'll be
yeah.
able to actually move towards your goals.
Must be so easy.
Right, so here in Australia, if you get your B12
Again, this if you get your this is only B12 he's talking
the
about.
reference range generally is around 160 to 620, 630. Yeah. So 400 to 160, that is severe deficiency. That is a clear clinical deficiency that you can get brain damage from. And that's the operating levels of the majority. That's it.
And the shrunken brain, there you go. He said most of us have shrunken brains, brain damage. Yes, that's true. It's not only B12. There's dozens of other nutrients in the body.
Becoming more apparent in studies is that something nefarious controls many children's behavioural disorders. Many parents are shocked to learn that either a mother's diet during pregnancy could have impacted her child's aggressive behavioural condition, or the diet fed to the child after birth took over his or her moods and decision making. More and more recounts of these behaviours in homes and schools worldwide have become a 21st century disorder. Remember, junk in, junk out, healthy in, healthy out.
So what is this gut-brain connection? Exactly.
What is the
Well,
gut-brain
let's go into
connection?
science. The human brain contains approximately 100 billion neurons, brain cells,
Yeah.
nerve cells, right? The gut
Yeah.
also has a nervous system. It's called
Yep.
the second brain, also
Yep.
known as the enteric nervous system. Enteric
Yep.
means gut, fancy medical word. And this contains,
does.
get this, 500 million neurons. So there's 5 times as many neurons in your gut as in your brain. Now there's a bidirectional highway between the brain and the gut brain. And this is called the vagus nerve. And it links
Yeah.
our enteric nervous system with our brain and our central nervous system. And it's sending and receiving signals all the time. So whatever's happening in your brain, mood, stress, emotions, impacts your gut function. And whatever happens in your gut impacts your brain function, right? Mind, body, body, mind. We talk about this. I felt sick to my stomach. I have gut feelings. Maybe I'm so nervous I had to run to the bathroom, right? This is the gut-brain connection at work.
There you go. So that's a typical, caveman mentality. When your nutrient profile in your body is screwed up, you're going to start thinking and acting more like a caveman. Distorted thoughts, erratic moods, intense feelings. It's more like under the control of the limbic system of the brain, the reptile brain, or the animal brain. Here we go. Summary. Number 1, jealousy and other behaviors rarely are corrected merely with talk therapy. If your nutrients, especially B12 and B complex, are too low, your likelihood of brain shrinkage increases, as well as damage to your gut system, your whole body, but especially your intestines. If your brain shrinks, it not only affects your thoughts and emotions, but also if you get older, you also get older faster, like more wrinkles in the skin and so on. You're more than what people see. You have an interior, as a plant does. Does it sound like your medical doctor performs this kind of analysis? Nope. If you're jealous of others, why not be proactive and become politically active to kick out politicians promising something for nothing? And number 7, get an individualized assessment based on orthomolecular nutrition. And what's orthomolecular nutrition? Check out my other videos. I can't put this in every video that I have, but these are the types of things I analyze in my free symptom measure tool here. Look at all these vitamins, minerals, amino acids, essential fats, organ function, and it's free or low cost. Free if you can't afford it, low cost if you can. You don't get this kind of testing in a medical doctor's office, and it doesn't involve taking blood. So if you like what I'm doing here, please like and subscribe.